Hey y'all, welcome back. I left off last time pointing out something obvious. No solution is even possible if you blame the wrong thing for the problem. Let's just say it irritates me whenever fools on TV shows calling themselves news say that the system in Washington is broken. If Americans had real education, they'd maybe have the sense to demand that these so-called experts explain just what they're talking about. Is the system broken like an engine with a cracked distributor cap that needs a $10 part to fix? Or is it broken like an engine with a thrown connecting rod that's beyond repair? Who broke it? Who's supposed to fix it? How can it be fixed? Media corporations on both the left and the right constantly bring on highly paid experts and authorities to not answer those questions, but instead do what sophist nerds do: spew horse crap to obscure the facts, to obscure the truth. The one thing, seems to me, that they tell you that is true is that the other party is the problem. Because from my perspective in the middle, I can't see how either political party really serves we the people or this country. An interesting thing that true nerds in political science like to point out is that, like these media corporations on the left and the right, the two political parties are also corporations. They're not like corporations, or for all intents and purposes corporations. They are literally, in fact and in law, corporations doing business as political parties. Your belief that they are somehow a fundamental part of our democracy was just part of your social engineering. I mean education. Something that complexifies the situation with these two corporations a little is the fact that they are a type of corporation known as nonprofit or not-for-profit corporations. Legal nerds can knock yourself out making distinctions in the comment section below. I ain't got time for that. The point is that whenever people donate time or effort or money to corporations of this type, they're not supposed to receive any benefit in return other than the true pride and real satisfaction of helping people and doing good in the world. The thing that complexifies the situation with these two corporations a lot is the fact that they have two kinds of donors for all intents and purposes. The one kind of donors donate mostly money, a whole crap load of money, to this party or that party with the goal of making the world a better place. When I nerd whisper some of these books behind me, you can decide for yourself if their goal is to make the world a better place for themselves or for everybody. The other kind of donors, the vastly larger number of donors, donate mostly their time to go out and vote for candidates from this party or that party, with the goal of keeping the world from sucking any worse than it already does, which is what they believe will happen if the existential threat to our democracy, other party, gets more power. Over the years, a few very successful former con artists have written books, given talks and interviews, and they'll come right out and tell you, all that a con artist needs to do is figure out what his intended victim wants. From there, he's pretty much got him. And because fear is such a powerful emotion, when a person is afraid of something, he is very much going to want that fear to go away, especially an existential threat danger. That's where a con artist or a sophist nerd has got you. All he has to do is convince his intended victim that doing whatever he tells him to do will make that danger go away, and he's got him. What is completely ridiculous, just monumentally absurd about our present day political situation is that the sophist nerds offering a solution to this existential threat danger were the same sophist a-holes who created that existential threat to begin with. To me, that term existential threat is an absolute gem of sophistry. Remember me saying no solution is possible if you blame the wrong thing for the problem? Well, if you're a member of this party or that party and you believe that the other party is an existential threat to our democracy, I kind of agree with you. And from my perspective in the middle, you've got a big old unsolvable problem on your hands. Your party is not going to defeat the existential threat to our democracy, because the way I see it, both parties and their whole two-party system is the existential threat to our democracy. If you're a true believer in one or the other of these two parties, please, for God's sake, evaluate that statement. Then evaluate the statement, we have a two-party system of government because that's what works for us. Then repeat the process until something starts making sense. Back to how sophists blame the wrong thing for the problem. While blaming the other party has to be their favorite con by far, they can't blame the other party whenever there's bipartisan agreement. That, by the way, is another gem of sophistry. The belief that bipartisanship is a good thing is such a monstrous and widely believed lie in America, it'd make Joseph Goebbels proud. For example, there's bipartisan agreement that we cannot have affordable health care in this country, that we cannot have fair trade deals, that we cannot keep jobs in America, that we cannot pay a living wage to people lucky enough to have jobs. We certainly cannot have an energy independent America. There's also bipartisan agreement that we need to squander about $250 billion a year on wasteful military spending. And we need the Federal Reserve System acting as a ginormous sugar daddy for the rich. Not to mention the fact that there's bipartisan support for the idea that America's schools should suck and America's infrastructure should crumble because tax cuts for the rich are more important. In situations like this where sophists can't just blame the other party, they muddy the water to make you think the situation is far too complicated for you to understand. Of course, they also try and make you believe that they know what they're talking about. If you were able to understand and evaluate what they're saying, it's obvious that they don't. The most ridiculous thing to me is when lazy, weak-minded sophists claim that doing what would make sense is just too expensive. Even when analysis by true nerd economists indicates that doing what would make sense would save billions, maybe tens of billions of dollars a year. Going back to the claim by pin-headed experts on TV shows that call themselves news that the system in Washington is broken, to those of us in the middle who have not had our minds muddied with horse crap from their media TV shows and who are pretty well informed, the system in Washington is not broken at all. In fact, it's working perfectly fine for the people it's designed to benefit. The system in Washington is not broken, it's corrupt. And the blame for that corruption falls squarely into the lap of one small group of people in American society. But to really understand those people, you first need to clearly understand what the word elite means. All by itself, it's simple and obvious. Just means a person or a group of people who are the best at something. In sports, you can see it.
But the Clippers will run it the other way.
In music, you can hear it. I've even heard that there are elite rappers. As an old redneck who never listens to rap, I only know of one.
You can't touch this.
In fact, it seems to me that the entire history of rap since 1990 has been nothing but one failed attempt after another to touch that. Dust off your thinking tools, kids, if you're up to the challenge. What I'd like you to do is pause your player and evaluate what I just said about rap. When you're done, hit play again. We'll see how you did. Done already? If you said, yeah, rap sucks, rock on, dude, think and fail. If that's what you said, you might be too brain damaged from smoking dope to be able to do any thinking. If you said, well, that's just Scotty's opinion, and everybody's entitled to his opinion, think and fail. If that's what you said, you didn't actually do any thinking. You just responded with a cliche, with a slogan, kind of like an idiotic political three-word slogan, as nerds call them, only with more words. Lots of people do this, by the way, because our American educational system is largely designed around what's called stimulus response. You respond to the stimulus, to the question you're asked, with the correct response, the answer you're supposed to give, and you're rewarded with a high grade. Yay! Now, if you actually thought about what I said and realized, wait a minute, Scotty just told us he's an old redneck who never listens to rap. What does he know? That's a worthless opinion. Good job. You evaluated the information that I gave you that formed my opinion and came to the correct conclusion that my opinion when it comes to rap is worthless. Now, if you went the extra step and identified exactly what kind of opinion it was and added for the win, that was an ignorant opinion. Boom! You rock.
Excellent!
Back to the word elite. All by itself, it's simple and obvious. Just means among the best at something. But things get real complicated as soon as you put the word the in front of elite or the letter S in back of elite. Now you're talking about a group of people who are among the best socially, politically, or economically in a society. That's what a dictionary will tell you. But in real world modern America, individual members of this group of people known as the elite do not necessarily have to be good, much less the best, at anything. Not good, much less the best in any way. What members of this group of people known as the elite necessarily have to be is either rich or useful in some way to people who are rich. Although elites are the movers and shakers, makers and breakers of society, in modern day America, elites don't necessarily have to have any understanding at all of politics, economics, or what's going on in society. They don't necessarily have to be moral, honest, trustworthy, law-abiding, even sane. There are members of the elite who are fools, whack jobs, con artists, even criminals. But that's okay, because what members of the elite have to be is either rich or useful to people who are rich. Pretty much just as simple as that. When you add the letters IST or ISM to the end of the word elite, it gets a lot more complicated. Way too complicated for me to cover in this episode. So I'll pick it up there next time. See you then. If you like this video, why not click the like button? I'll put a link to the next episode over here.